In today's age of racing games, racers heavily inspired from games of the past have become a lot more prominent, leading to a surge of spiritual successors. Inspiration often comes from all-time classics like Sega's Outrun, for good reason of course, but sometimes a developer goes with something a little different. In the case of Victory Heat Rally by Sky Devil Palm, it shares some DNA with another Sega sprite scaling racer, Power Drift, and throws in some tricks of its own for a unique 2.5D racing experience that plays just as good as it looks. And thanks to the folks at Playtonic, I've had an opportunity that's a first for my channel. I've actually been playing the game early in order to put a review together just in time for its release date, which is today. But like the rest of my videos, I just want to talk about what I like about this game, show off how fun it is, and hopefully convince you to play it yourself. So with introductions out of the way, this is Victory Heat Rally, a pixel-perfect return to super scalar arcade racing.
3, 2, 1, go!
Victory Heat Rally is all about driving, drifting, and boosting your way through winding and wavy tracks, and keeping ahead of the competition with your speedy racing skills. Learning how to drive in this game is quick and easy, with gas and brake buttons, plus steering and a drift button for navigating this game's many turns. Drifting is the key to going faster and keeping it that way. By holding down the drift button while turning, you start sliding around, and a meter on the right side of the screen fills up as you drift inward. Once it's full, letting go of the drift button gives you a speed boost. But similar to Mario Kart, if you hold the drift longer than the initial charge, you can fill the meter up to 3 times, each time giving you a more powerful boost that lasts longer. In order to hold a drift long enough to fully charge the boost meter, drifting outward and tapping the brakes to keep your car away from walls, and briefly letting go of the drift button while steering in the opposite direction, allowing you to change your drift direction while maintaining your boost charge, will help you get the most out of drifting and boosting, and get a flow going from one turn to the next, all the way to the finish line. It's pretty easy to learn and fun to master. As your boosts help you catch up and overtake opponents, you can complete laps fast enough to eventually start lapping other cars. While you can't really bump around any cars that are on the same lap as you, running into any slowpokes that you're about to lap will knock them off course in explosive fashion. Speaking of off course, driving over any surface that's not the road slows you down, and your car explodes if you fell off part of the track that's above ground, but you're brought back on course quick enough to make up for lost time. Not only was Victory Heat Rally easy to pick up and play, but after about 5 minutes of playing as I figured out the controls, I quickly realized that the game also felt good to play, and that feeling only got better as I improved with every race. Victory Heat Rally features various turns, hills, and jumps across its many tracks, set in a wide range of environments. Each area features 3 to 4 unique tracks of varying complexity, adding up to over 30 courses to master. Tracks can take place anywhere from a racing stadium, to a city on the beach, sandy deserts, dense jungles, mountain ridges, an amusement park, and so much more. Track layouts are split into 2 types, closed-loop circuits which are lap-based, and point-to-point rally routes, complete with pace notes to guide you through. The tracks don't have much in terms of hazards to avoid, but given how wild some of the turns and jumps can be, some tracks are dangerous enough on their own. Hairpins and corkscrews leading to big jumps, or downhill turns without guardrails can quickly catch you off guard if you're not expecting them, but that also makes them the most fun to drift around. Subtle S-curves are great spots to master changing directions while holding a drift, and then save the boost for when the road straightens back out. The rally tracks offer the same kind of exciting turns featured in circuits, and since they don't have a minimap displayed on screen, directional arrow prompts notify you of upcoming turns quickly enough for you to react. Mastering every corner in this game, by weaving through them with extended drifts and boosts is a lot of fun, and with a healthy amount of track venues and courses, the road to mastery is far from a repetitive one. There's 12 playable characters in Victory Heat Rally, each with their own car. 3 are playable from the start, and the remaining 9 need to be unlocked. Every racer offers unique personalities on the track with their car's driving feel, and off the track with bits of character dialogue and voice clips. Each car has a different balance of stats, which determine performance in areas like acceleration time, top speed, handling on turns, especially while drifting, and the increased top speed and how long it lasts when boosting. While some cars heavily favor certain stats, these numbers aren't set in stone. When selecting a car, you also select its suspension and tires, which increase some stats while reducing others. Some cars are all-rounders which can do a little bit of everything well, while others accelerate quickly and turn with ease, and others start slow, but once they pick up speed from drift boosts, they move fast, as long as you can keep them off the guardrails with their reduced handling. Your part selection can help balance out how a car performs if its disadvantages are a bit much, or improve its strengths even further if you can deal with the drawbacks. The last option when picking a car is one of 5 paint colors, with the latter 4 color schemes unlocked by winning races. It's possible to win races with every character with practice and experimentation with part combos, but I found myself racing the most with Chrissy and her Crimson Cilantro, because I love a good hero car that looks cool, and also functions as a solid car to drive both when starting out, and once you've got the mechanics down. Ever since I first heard about Victory Heat Rally a few years ago, the first thing that immediately stood out to me was how gorgeous the game looked. The colorful visuals are a combination of high-quality 2D sprites and 3D models with pixelated textures, and when put together in motion pull off the sense of depth, scale, and speed very well, just like the sprite-based racers that inspired it. The superb sprite work also extends to the menu and HUD elements, all with a very 90s styled aesthetic. The sprites for the cars go for a cute super deformed look, which may look familiar to people who've played the Koro Q games. You've probably noticed that the in-game camera tilts a lot, which is relative to how hard you're steering, especially while drifting. That combined with the camera zooming out a bit when boosting, the screen shaking whenever your car lands from a jump, sparks flying from your car that change color when drifting, and anime speed lines when boosting, it all makes for some great dynamic camera work and visual effects that help keep the races exciting. But if some of the camera effects are a bit too much, or too little for you, you can adjust their intensity in the options at any time. The replay cameras also do an amazing job at showing off how cool your driving looks when flying through turns, catching big air, and constantly boosting. Outside of the gameplay, one of the biggest surprises I discovered in this game was its stellar soundtrack. For any fans of video game music remixes, especially in the racing game space, you may be familiar with the artist Rob KTA, who helped compose the music for this game. Every song is a high-energy, fast-paced banger with elements of dance, rock, and electronic music, plus a few others. I'm definitely picking up the soundtrack once it becomes available. One last touch in the audio department I want to shout out is the choice of sound effects for drifting and filling the boost meter. When they're combined with the visual effects of drift sparks and the meter changing color, they make drifting and boosting feel good, and keep you wanting to nail as many as you can to keep the great feeling going. Victory Heat Rally's modes offer a lot to do on your own, and some options when playing with friends. The main draw is Championship Mode, a campaign that takes you through every track in the game, racing your way from a rookie to the top of the VHRC. Races are split up into 3 groups, each with 3 tours, and the track and computer opponent's difficulty increases with each tour. On the map screen, you can move around to any available races, and switch out which character you want to play at any time. Coming in 3rd or better in a race earns victory points, which are necessary for moving on to later tours. Eventually you'll reach splits on the map, which lead to more races and additional challenge missions, which also give you victory points when you clear them. These missions can be anything from hitting objects on the track, driving through small gates, and avoiding enough cars before time runs out. There's way more challenges than the ones I mentioned, but I'll leave those for you to find out and take on. As you reach the end of a tour's map, the final event is a Grand Prix, provided you have enough victory points, and takes you through all 4 tracks on the tour again, but this time with the added competition of a rival driver that tries noticeably harder to beat you. You earn points based on your finish position in each race, and the player with the most at the end wins the Prix. Before you move on to the next tour, don't forget to take one last detour on the map, and go for the rival battle that's unlocked after finishing the Grand Prix. It's a one-on-one race with the rival you just faced on a new course, and the goal is to pull ahead of them to reduce their life bar. In contrast, your life bar goes down if the rival is in front of you. You'll have to drive fast and stay in front long enough to bring their life down to 0 and win. Winning the battle unlocks the rival character, giving you more options to tackle the races and challenges in subsequent tours. Completing all 3 tours in a group unlocks the next one, and the 3rd and final group after that. As the difficulty amps up, it may be worth it to switch characters that are better suited for events giving you trouble. Switching characters also helps you net wins toward unlocking paint colors for your new cars. Completing the championship is certainly doable with some trial and error on the new tracks, and maybe trying out different car and part setups, and will keep you busy for long enough without overstaying its welcome. Once you've been crowned the VHRC champion and unlocked every character in the game, the racing fun's only gotten started. For races set up your way, there's Versus Mode, which lets you play single races or Grand Prix, with options for things like computer difficulty, the number of laps, and the time of day for your selected track. If you want more challenging races than what the later championship tours threw at you, Versus races on the hardest difficulty on any track can do that. The Grand Prix option is great for knocking out however many wins left from unlocking a car's paint colors. Versus Mode is also where up to 4 players can race together for some local split screen fun. You'll have to use Steam Remote Play if you'd like to play online with other people though, as dedicated online multiplayer isn't in this game. Time Attack lets you race against the clock for the fastest time, or for a free run where you can practice the course for as long as you want. Finally, there's the Arcade Grand Prix, which takes you across the 5 tracks featured in a selected championship tour, and you race not only for the most points, but also for the fastest time on each track, which accumulates toward a final total time at the end, and you can set and beat your best records arcade style. I've played my fair share of pixel art styled racers over the years, but the brand of fun and style that Victory Heat Rally offers make it a cut above similar games that I've touched in the past, and I'd love to see more sprite scaling racers that have this game's kind of intensity in terms of gameplay and presentation. I again want to thank Playtonic for providing a review code. I've always wanted to make a release day review like this since starting my channel, to help hype up and support a game that I was interested in, so this opportunity has truly been a dream come true. I think this should go without saying, but I'll say it anyway because this game deserves it. I highly recommend getting Victory Heat Rally, as it's given me some of the most fun I've had with an arcade racer this year, and I think it'll do the same for you too. I hope the best for this game's Switch version whenever it comes out, and that it allows even more people to check this game out. But I think you've heard enough of me singing Victory Heat Rally's praises. Go play the game on Steam right now, and I hope you enjoy it. As always, this has been fun, and I'm already looking forward to covering another amazing racing game. So I hope you'll check out what I've got in store for next time, and thank you for watching.